Okay, I think I might be live now. So, still trying to learn how to do all of this. Alright, so I'll just sit back and enjoy getting my stuff ready to be able to bead and work on my project that I'm working on. And wait and see if anybody is available to sign on. Alright, Michaela, so it's not coming out of two, or it's coming out of both ears this time, and not just out of one ear. And I'm sitting down here, I'm getting my thread and needle together. Alright, sounds good. Alrighty, well, I'm just gonna go down here, and I'll put myself up here for a minute. And then just kind of stick around and see, and wait for just a few minutes and see if anybody is available. Besides my kiddo. Who's now leaving. Alright, so I am working on a bracelet. That is not focusing very well again. There we go. I'm working on a bracelet idea. So I'm just currently trying to put the wire guard on the end of the bracelet because this is a bead weaving project. And with it being a bead weaving project, I like to use wire guards with my thread. And I'm trying to look at all my screens to figure out who's what and where. Alright, so just putting my wire guard on. Whoops. And then hitting the camera. Alright. I am going to do just that. Alright, so what I'm going to end up doing is I think I'm going to cut my thread here because I'm going to get back down over here on this side, and then I'm going to do similar thing that I did over here off to this side where I connected my Rivoli portion of this to the band of the bracelet to help keep it from flopping back and forth a little bit too much. It's still going to flop a little bit just because the band of the bracelet is still a little bit large, but at least, you know, maybe we can get it to not flop so much. So that's my intent, at least. So you're welcome to stay on board and see how I'm doing. I'm probably going to turn myself off here in just a second and just have the bracelet sitting here. Uh-oh. There we go. So that way people can see what's going on. Get one more knot in here before I tie this or burn this thing off. So just waiting for people to join. I had somebody in here just a little while ago besides my daughter, and more than welcome to come in and say hi for a minute. And if you have to skedaddle, it's all good. Completely understand. It's like this is just me just having fun, just beading away. Also trying to get things worked out with my sound, with everything else. The little screen that's down here, I'll probably get rid of that in just a second, so that way people can see me a little bit better, or see what I'm doing a little bit better. I'm not used to the screen size and everything. I'm trying to get used to that. And I'll probably be on for just a little bit. I'm not going to be on for very long. Alright. So, time to burn this down. My intent is to make these lives be more of a reoccurring thing, so that way people will kind of know when I'm on, because right now I don't think anybody knows that I'm on. So I'm going to turn that off. Try to learn where all my buttons are at too on the screen. So, all right. So now you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better without that sitting there. And then I have extra stuff on my screen. I don't know where all that's coming from. Still getting used to it. All right, so now we're going to take my other piece of thread. I'm going to tie it onto the Super Duo that I'm going to connect the band to the center portion. So I'm going to figure this out. And this may end up being a full tutorial here pretty soon. I'm using the Duet Super Duos, so you can see that some of the Super Duos are black on one half and then they're gray on the other half. My thought is to go to this Super Duo up here to use the second hole and attach it to the second Super Duo that's in the center over here using that hole. At least I think that's what I did. I did 1, 2. Yeah, the innermost hole. So I attached it to this one. So that's my idea. So I need to go through this right here. All right, before I do that though, I need to get a stop bead on my thread. Just pour out a couple of 11-ohs. Oops. And leave yourself a little bit of space. Try not to pull all the way through your bead with your thread. You need to leave yourself a little bit of space there. That's kind of funny. All right, so I'm going to start off in this hole right here of the Super Duo and pray that this needle actually works. Because sometimes this needle does not want to work, and I've bent it up pretty good. So if you join in, please let me know if there are any sound issues, I know the first time I did a live a few days ago, I know I had, oh man, please don't break. I know I had issues with my sound only coming out of the left side. My right side sound was not working. And then I also had a little bit of an echo going on because I think I had two things turned on for my sound. I had my microphone that's sitting off to the side over here, and I think it was also trying to come through my computer too. Okay. I'm going to switch out to a 12. I'm having issues. I'm using a size 11 needle on right now. I'm going to switch to size 12 and see if that helps any. Alright, so let's try that now. Alright, come on now. Like, I'm going to be difficult for you because I know you're trying to work on something. You should see the faces I'm making right now, trying to get this thing to work and go through. Oh my goodness gracious. Come on. Let's see. Okay, so that's being difficult. Let's just see if we can go to this side. Maybe go ahead and go through both beads, if it'll even let you do that. And then I can backtrack, which is always kind of scary also. So I'm going to backtrack going through the Super Duo, just that one. And then I should be coming out on the bottom end of the Super Duo where I wanted to start off at. Then we're going to go to the other hole of the Super Duo. And that's where I want to be. And look how bent my needle is. Kind of funny. There we go. And I went through both Super Duos again. Perfectly fine. We'll just do the same thing. Alright, so I'm coming out of that outermost Super Duo, so I want to go back to this side right here. Right in there. Alright, so now I am set up to where I'm going to add my Super Duo like I did over here on this side. So when I did that, I picked up one of my 15s. Then I picked up the Super Duo so it is in the same direction. So right now I am on the gray side. So I picked up the Super Duo with the gray, and then pick up one more 15-0. And then now I'm going to attempt and try to figure out how to wrap around this one Super Duo. And then end up going through both beads again. That's okay. It is what it is. So welcome everyone that has joined. I'm just sitting here working on a bracelet idea that will most likely be a video in the future. I'm just trying to get an idea done. And this is just beads from my stash. So it's not necessarily anything specific from anybody's box or anything like that. But it's just beads from my stash. Do let me know in the comments though if I'm having issues with any sound or anything like that. I am still pretty new at this. This is only the second time I've done a live. And so I want to make sure that I'm kind of getting some of the kinks out. And then once I kind of get comfortable with doing lives, I will probably make this more of a recurring thing, where I'll do it more on a scheduled basis. Alright, so I'm going to go through this Super Duo right here to connect it. So I'm going on this side, the gray side right now. And then when I was on the other half, I had to go through both Super Duos. It would not go through one. So I hope this one works. It's having issues. Trying to see if I can kind of squish the super duos around or anything like that, make the hole a little bit more accessible. See if that helps any. Well, all right. Well, that's being difficult. Look how bent my needle is. It's a well-used needle, that's for sure. This is a size 12 needle because I figured I can get the size 12 out and it'll be a little easier to go through the super duos, and it's not working very well. Alright, let me see if something like this would help. Kind of pinching it and working some of these things out kind of helps when I get to a tutorial base to know what to show and know what to tell people if things happen. So if, or whenever this video does get done, that maybe I can add that to the talking points. Oh, yay. Okay. I can add that to the talking points, and then that way that will hopefully help somebody else out, because if I'm having problems with it, then somebody else is bound to have something similar happen, whether it be on this project or some other project that they work on with similar beads or something like that. Okay, so now that I finally went through the super duos, I'm coming out of that second one, so I want to try to see if I can backtrack and hope it'll let me backtrack. And it's also one of those things that you just have to kind of figure out how to fix things. That if you're working on a project and the person you're watching, as far as YouTube or anything like that, is telling you how to do something in one way, but you're having issues, then you have to kind of just figure out how to fix it. And sometimes you just have to do your own thing. Sometimes you have to change up the pattern a little bit just because, you know, your beads aren't working right, or your needle's too big. You know, you have to switch to a different needle. You know, just different things like that. And that's what I enjoy most about doing the videos and everything, is that it's more of just like a teaching thing, but you're able to kind of do what you want to do with it. You don't always have to follow exactly what the designer is telling you to do. You can kind of do your own thing. So I do have to go through this one more time. So I'm going to fight with this again. And hope and pray I can get through that bead. Yay, a little bit faster. There we go. Alright, so let's go back through that super duo to backtrack. And sometimes when you backtrack, it's not a good thing. So you just have to be careful with it. Because sometimes you'll catch on to extra threads that are in that super duo already to begin with. And it can cause more problems than good. Trying to get my extra thread out of the way. Alright, so now it's kind of looking a little wonky, but we're going to get that fixed. We're going to go through this 15 that's sitting there right now. And then I'm going to pick up 3 15s. And then I'm going to go... Oh, I forgot to go through the super duo first. Whoops. Okay. So I'm coming out of that first 15. Then we're going to go through the super duo. And this whole project, I have kept all of my twisting when I go on the outside of super duos. I've always kept the black thread on the black side of the beads so you couldn't see it. So now if I were to do that, you would see the thread path. So I decided to go ahead and just add some extra beads on this side. So pick up 3 of your 15s, and then go down through that bottom hole of the super duo. Then pick up 3 more 15s. Circle back through the other side again one more time. And then on this side is when we're going to connect all of these 15 O's together. So then that is when you need to go ahead, and it's a little bit different. Did I connect to that one? I think I did. So you're coming out of that hole of the super duo right there, but you need to go ahead and jump up to this seed bead and go in this direction. And yeah, there's going to be a little bit of thread there. Nobody is ever going to see that. And then you would go through the 3 15s that are on the edge. And having issues getting the needle to work with that. There we go. And then once you get down to the bead down here in the bottom, we're going to go through that one too. So I went through the 3 seed beads that were on the side, and I'm going through that first seed bead that we added when we added the super duo to begin with. And now that you're down here on the bottom side of the super duo, I'm going to go ahead and add 3 more seed beads again. And then I'm going to go remove the cat fur that just got tangled up in there. And then I'm going to go through all of these beads along this side, except for that one that's up at the top. Because if I go through this one again, then I'm going to have to go through all of the super duos back over here off to this side. So I'm just going to leave that one open for right now. And go through that. Go ahead and go through the super duo to kind of lock it in there. And then now all I have to do is just get back to the underside down here so I can tie off. So to do that, we're going to go ahead, go through. This will be the third pass of thread through 15s, so they may be getting a little tight, so we just have to be careful with it. And again, if you're watching, just let me know if there's any issues with any sound. This is just my second live that I've done. Just checking to see if there's any problems. Just trying to get used to how things are going to work when I'm doing lives. And then I'll make this a little bit more of a scheduled thing. So in the future, people will know that I'm going live rather than just happen to come across it like y'all are doing right now. You're just happen to come across this. And hopefully make this more of a recurring thing. Alright, so now I need to get down to the super duo down here on the bottom of the bracelet. How did I get down there? I went through... I should be able to just go through... Okay, seed bead, that's right. I went through this seed bead. I keep missing the seed bead and going underneath the thread. Alright. Go through the seed bead. And then... Alright, I'm going to move the nettle. What is a nettle? I'm going to move the needle to the back of the bracelet. And then that way, hopefully I can get through this side a little easier. Let's see, my thread is over there. So let's go through this part of the super duo. And we're going to go through the seed beads on the outer edge. And then go back over in this direction. And then that should, once I go through the second super duo, yeah, right there, should be where my thread is at. My stop bead. And then take the stop bead off. And again, for anybody that's watching, this is just something I'm practicing, trying to get some kinks out on both the live, and I am thinking about doing this as a tutorial. This is just beads from my stash, so nothing specifically from a box or anything. I'm not even paying attention if I'm going right over left, left over right. I'm just making knots right now. But I am thinking about doing this as a tutorial for the future. So let me know if there's anything that you would like to see in the future, any ideas. I know I had gotten a request recently to do more of some Christmas ideas or holiday ideas, and that is on my plate to think about, and probably do something, maybe not necessarily in a live. I might just do a tutorial on it, but I might do it as a live also, and just kind of go through what I do with making holiday ideas and holiday decorations and things like that. We do decorate here at the house. Christmas is usually the time of the year that we decorate the most. So we do have decorations and stuff that we put up. Whoops. They're not necessarily beadwork decorations though either. I have one of the first things that I did when I was a kid, when I learned how to do crafting and things like that. One of the first things I learned how to do was one, cross stitching. So I have a lot of cross stitching items that I have done over the years. And two, my mother and grandmother taught me how to crochet. So I've been doing that since I was a young girl. So I have a lot of different crocheted items in my house and things like that. And there's a lot of stuff in my house that my sister crochets for me too, because she does the same thing. And I had to take the needle off of this because this might be kind of hard to make a knot, because I did not leave enough thread on the end of the needle. Let's see, how am I going to do this? We're going to do this backwards. So, and here again, we're trying to figure out how to fix something, because something went wrong. I did not leave enough thread at the end to be able to tie a knot at the end, and now I can't even thread my needle. The joys. Okay, I think I got it just then. Cool. Alright, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to go backwards through this. And then we're going to let the needle come out of the thread come out of the needle again. So there's one knot. And then I'm going to do basically the same thing in this same spot. So I'm going backwards with my needle, so the eye of the needle is over here. Then I stick it in my mat to let it get it stable. And then try to rethread it again. I'm actually surprised I'm able to get through the eye of these size 12 needles pretty easily today. Most of the time it gives me headaches. Alright, so that is 2 knots. Not the best closure that I would like to do, but it'll have to do because I don't have enough thread. So there again, another problem that you have to try to figure out how to fix. And I need to change my battery in this thing. It is almost dead. Alrighty, come on. There we go. So now, that's what the bracelet looks like currently. Let's see if I can get this to focus a little bit better. There we go. So you can see a little bit better. I like using the super duos that are the duets like this, where you have one color that's on half of the super duo and then you have another color that's on the other half. I like using those because when you look at the bracelet in this way, you see a lot of gray from this side, and then over here you see a lot of black on this side is typically what you see more of. And then when you flip it like that, it's the opposite. So it's really kind of cool. I love how it does that. I like working with duets. All right, so now it's time to add the toggle clasp, and hopefully this works out for me. I'm hoping the toggle will work out okay. And then, so I've just got some oval jump rings. I'm going to put the round one on first. And I'm using gunmetal colored findings and everything at the moment. So I've got gunmetal jump rings, the toggle clasp, the wire guards, because I'm using this is all thread and needle, so I like to use wire guards when I'm using thread and needle. I feel like it just gives it a little bit more stability, especially when you're attaching your clasp. And go ahead and put on a second jump ring on this side, because this will be for the bar. And the bar is actually oriented, the whole of the bar is oriented in the opposite direction. So, yep, okay, making sure I did put that on the right way. And then hopefully, oops, I don't think that's big enough. Hopefully this will work out just fine and not be too humongous bracelet or too small of a bracelet. Come on now. And doing these lives, it's kind of fun too, because y'all get to see me actually sit here and design and like work through problems and things like that, rather than just my typical tutorial videos where everything comes out and everything works out, and sometimes I have issues and sometimes I don't. So, okay, focus again. I gotta figure out how to get my camera to autofocus. It was autofocusing really well for a long time, and then all of a sudden it quit doing it. So I probably hit a button and didn't realize it. All right, so the Rivoli is still going to wobble back and forth because it is bigger. It's a 18? Yeah, 18 millimeter Rivoli. It's the color in the black diamond color. It's actually a Potomac crystal that I am using at the moment. But, you know, black diamond is one of those colors that you can find in several different manufacturers. So, and then the super duos, and then the toggle on the back. So actually ended up being okay. For my wrist, it's fitting almost perfect. I tend to wear a smaller bracelet than some others. So it may end up being one of those bracelets that might be a little too small for some people. So when I get the video done for the tutorial portion, I'll have a different color of Rivoli and everything. So during the tutorial itself. But whenever I get that done, then I will mention that if you need to make it longer, you can make it longer. And hey, Call! I just saw your thing. I'm still learning how I'm finding all of this stuff on my whatever platform this thing is called. Okay, now there we go. So that's an idea, and of course now it's not focusing again. All right, so that looks better. So that's an idea. And I'll just give you a little sneak peek that this will probably be part of whatever video I come out with. Get the thread out of the way. I made a pair of earrings to kind of go along with it. So I got my labradorite down here, and holy cow, that is picking up the flash. Look at that. That's cool. I love labradorite because it looks just gray until it hits that light and you're like, whoa. So made those, and then this was what I actually started off doing, was this. Oops, it's stuck. There we go. So I bezeled around a labradorite cabochon, and you can see a little bit of a rainbow of flash in this one. And I don't think I've seen too many that have rainbows, so that's kind of neat. But then I bezeled around that, and then I embellished the bezel some, and then that's what the back side of it looks like. And then I used some pebbles, labradorite pebbles, and then this is black onyx that are faceted, and then these are just black drucks that I had in my stash. And then I used the delicas and the 15-0s from that, and then just made just a simple necklace. And there goes Casper barking at somebody. At least I have the door closed so it's not going to be as loud. But that's something that I'm thinking about doing. I'll probably come out with some videos here in a little while. Thank you, Call. Appreciate it. So hopefully I'll have that going. But biggest reason that I'm on is that I just want to make sure that my sound sounds good. So now you can see me. Hi. My sound sounds good, and I'm not echoing or anything like that, because the first time I did my live I had an echo, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't too loud, and then I think I was only coming through the left ear, so the right side was not working right. So but you can see my green screen right here. Hopefully eventually I'll get that working with this platform, and then that way you won't see my background of everything that's going on in the background and everything. So but anyways, so that's kind of what I was planning on doing. There you are, sweet friend. Hello. So that's kind of what I was planning on doing with the lives and everything. Just try to practice a few times. I'll probably come up maybe once or twice this week, sometime or another, and do another live and just kind of get some more practice with it. And then eventually make it to be more of a, every whatever day of the week or something like that. Then I'll come on lives at certain times. So I'm actually kind of thinking about doing it every other Thursday, sometime in the afternoon, sometime or another. Not too early in the afternoon, just in case I have to pick the kid up from school and so on and so forth. So, something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. So, but that's pretty much it. I have no idea how long I've been on here. That's the only thing I haven't figured out how to look. Oh, there it is. I've been on for 38 minutes. Well, that's not too bad. So, but, that's pretty much it for this one. So just let me know if you have any ideas that you want to see as far as videos. I'm more than welcome to do things outside of getting just the subscription boxes and things like that. More than welcome to do that. Like I said earlier, and that I got one suggestion to do something for holiday decorations or holiday ideas. So that is on my plate to try to do something with that. But other than that, just let me know in the comments, either later on once this goes posting and everything, or shoot me an email. You can do that too. You can get all that information off my channel website. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, because I've been on now for about 40 minutes. So I'm going to say goodbye. So bye, Call, and everybody else that joined. Appreciate it. Bye.